Hello there and welcome to another episode of the most watched business show in the country. This is the Business Weekly Show here on Citi TV and I am your host, Michael Obodu. In the next 1 hour, I'll be bringing you a wrap of all the top business stories for the week. So if you're ready, let's go. I don't have good news for you because fuel prices are going to go up again, and this time by about 10%. This will bring the price of diesel to more than 15 Ghana cedis per litre. Just looking at the amount, and it's so obvious we are spending more than twice the amount we used to on fuel at the start of the year. This is scary and disturbing. Consumers should expect to buy petrol and diesel for almost 13 Ghana cedis and over 15 Ghana cedis per litre respectively in the coming days. This, per a statement by the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers Ghana, is due to a rise in the price of the commodities on the world market and the continuous depreciation of the cedi against the dollar. Petrol currently sells for about 12 cedis, 12 pesos per litre, while diesel stands at 14 cedis 86 pesos per litre. Speaking to Citi Business News, Executive Secretary of COPEC, Duncan Namwa, stressed the need for the government to intervene in the constant hikes in prices at the pumps to salvage the economy.
Give or take, we are looking at something in the region of 10% for both petrol and diesel. What that would mean is that for petrol that is currently trading around 11 cedis, you could be moving up to about 12, 13 Ghana cedis by the start of the window. Whilst diesel, which is currently around 13.99, could also be doing about 15 cedi, 16 pesos as of by Monday. Overall, you are simply expecting that prices will go up at the pumps due to the numbers you have within the industry, and the only thing we can say is that government should not go to sleep. The depreciation cedi doesn't bode well for petroleum pricing, judging by the fact that we are importing almost everything we consume in country, and so anytime the dollar appreciates or the cedi depreciates, you are putting enormous pressure on Ghanaian petroleum consumers. Unfortunately, this would also have a cascading effect on transport fares generally, as the transport operators have already started engaging, asking for some increments due to some of these increases in fuel prices that we are witnessing.
It doesn't end there. Ghana's inflation rate has risen again. This comes as significant increases in prices of housing, water, electricity, gas, and other foods have pushed the rate to hit 37.2% for September 2022. This was captured in the Consumer Price Index data released by the Ghana Statistical Service.
According to recent data from the Ghana Statistical Service, the significant increase in the prices of housing, water, electricity, gas and other fuels have pushed Ghana's inflation rate to hit 37.2% for the month of September 2022. It's noted that the implementation of utility tariffs influenced the surge in the inflation in housing, water, electricity and other fuel groups. The data shows that food inflation for the month of September was 37.8%. Non-food inflation was, however, 36.8%. Here's the government statistician Professor Samuel Kobnaini highlighting the impact of the key drivers on the increase in the overall inflation rate for September 2022.
Consumer Price Index for the month of September 2022 stood at 140.6. This culminated in a year-on-year inflation of 37.2% for the month of September 2022. Disaggregating this from a food and non-food perspective, food recorded at a year-on-year inflation of 37.8% and non-food inflation 36.8%, indicating a 1 percentage point variation between food and non-food inflation for the month of September 2022. From a domestic inflation, otherwise locally produced item and imported items and inflation perspective, we recorded a 4.9 percentage variation as imported items recorded 40.7% for the month of September 2022, relative to 35.8% for locally produced items, or domestic inflation 35.8% for the month of September 2022. We do not present the inflation rate for the previous month and for the year-on-year because of the new series that we've released today. So for purposes of comparison, the chain link has to be done to enable us to do the historic comparison. From a regional perspective, we identified Eastern region recording the highest rate of inflation of 47.1% and the Upper West region the least inflation of 22.9%.
Commenting on the increase, economist Courage Mate is urging government to, as a matter of urgency, introduce drastic measures to check the continuous fall of the local currency. This, he believes, will go a long way to curb the rising rate of inflation in the country.
Currently, if you look at the key drivers of this inflation that we have, first of all, it's the pass-through of exchange rate pressure. Now, when you look at the performance of the local currency during the September CPI window, the local currency depreciated by almost 14% over that period. If you compare it with the same period last year, the depreciation was just about 2%. And so the sharp depreciation of the local currency is one key factor. And then there was also the hike in utility tariff during the period, which has taken a hit on price pressures, and we expect the lagged impact to continue to the next month. So one of the things that can be done is to get the currency to stabilize, because that is a significant push factor for price pressure. How can the currency stabilize? We need some clarity in the market. We need some confidence to return in the market, where the market can have confidence in the fact that when they end their CD flows, they can invest it in CD-denominated securities and not to push it into safe haven assets like the US dollar, which is intensifying the pressure on the exchange rate and passing through to inflation.
Another headache is the rate at which the cedi is performing against major currencies and its effects on businesses. Well, the Ghana Union of Traders Associations, GUTA, is urging the government to quickly introduce drastic measures to check this development. The association believes the continuous depreciation of the cedi is because of weak economic structures. Can you blame them when the dollar has crossed the 11 Ghana cedi to $1 mark at some forex bureaus?
It's no doubt that Ghana's economy is going through difficult times due to a myriad of challenges, including the poor performance of its local currency. The Ghana cedi has been suffering continuous depreciation since the beginning of the year, especially against the US dollar. Recent data from the October 2022 Monetary Policy Report of the Bank of Ghana indicates that as of 30th September 2022, the Ghana cedi has depreciated by 37.5% to the US dollar. At the same time, the cedi has depreciated by 24.1% and 27.5% against the pound and the euro respectively. In comparison with the same period last year, the Ghana cedi fared better, depreciating by 1.8% and 0.5% against the US dollar and the pound respectively, and appreciated by 4% against the euro. In the report, the central bank noted that the depreciation of the currency can be attributed to a number of issues, including the portfolio reversals and a sudden exit of non-resident investors in the bond market, as well as a loss of market access to Eurobond resources. Already, the dollar has crossed the 11 Ghana cedi to $1 mark at some forex bureaus in some parts of the capital. Some forex bureau operators have been speaking to Citi News on how the situation is affecting them.
With you, we are not doing well. The city is not doing well at all. One cannot really understand why it is so, because for me, I don't see any basis for the rate going up. There's no basis. It's not economically prudent to say that because of the low pressure of demand on a certain currency, the rate should go down, and if there's a high demand for a certain currency, the rate should go up. It's normal around this time.
I think it's very weak. It's very down. I think the dollar has overtaken the cedis and stuff, so I think it's not good at all. Because as far as they put in any I would say, if they put in any thoughts of bringing down, making the cedi very strong, I think it's not working, because I would say there are some measures that they are supposed to do, because if they try to bring in more dollars, definitely it will depreciate again.
For the Ghana Union of Traders Associations, GUTA, government's recent actions such as the receipt of the Afri-Exim Bank loan and the cocoa syndication loan have yielded little returns. Its president, Joseph Obeng, is thus calling on government to implement more robust measures to curb the situation as we enter into the Yuletide season.
What it means is that our problem is very structural. And that's what we took our time to enumerate the areas of leakages of the limited forests that we get in the country. We are now going to do our Christmas sales. All things being equal, the volume of trade was going to be increased. We are even lucky that now our capitals are almost spirited away. It meant that pressure on the dollar was going to even go up more. And if I use the normal trend that we do, it means that there are a lot more pressure going to come to bear on the forest, which then means that the present rate that we see is just going to be it's just going to give way for even bigger rate.
It's interesting that despite the trying times of the economy, some of the government's homegrown solutions aren't living up to expectations. Despite a recent announcement of an increase in the revenues generated from the electronic transfer levy, tax analyst Dr. Alex Ampabing is of the view that the policy ought to be reviewed or scrapped entirely. The Ghana Revenue Authority had indicated recently that the levy has so far recorded a 20% improvement month on month and expects to see further growth subsequently.
As at September this year, data from the Ghana Revenue Authority indicates that about 328 million Ghana cedis has been realized from the electronic transfer levy. This is a significant improvement from the 60 million Ghana cedis achieved in June, although it still raises concerns about the government's ability to meet the projected 2022 target of 600 million Ghana cedis with just about 2 months to end the year. This is further heightened by records showing a dip in mobile money transactions since the introduction of the policy, as some resort to cash transactions and other creative means to avoid the levy. Dr. Alex Ampabing is a tax analyst, and he is of the opinion that the policy must be reviewed.
E-levy as it stands, I would say it has failed. And it's got to the point where government has to review it. Probably reduction in rate, if it's not to be abolished, then government needs to look at reducing the rate to make it less attractive for people not to pay.
Demands for the scrapping of the policy have been rife since its inception, but with the economy currently in dire straits and the country seeking an IMF bailout, what options are available to the government if it were to hit the call?
The country is not generating enough, and it is time for us to do a proper system audit. Look at which areas can we really generate revenue. Property tax is one huge area, and I do hope they said they were starting the Unified Common Platform, which the minister announced January to start. As of now, we are in the 10th month of the year and nothing is happening.
At least there appears to be some light at the end of the tunnel for Ghana's economy, as the government is making progress with its negotiations with the International Monetary Fund, the IMF. At least for now, the IMF says the timing for the grant of support to Ghana is hinged on the government's ability to complete and implement its homegrown recovery program.
We are extremely, we've tried to be extremely responsive. I think within less than a week, for sure, of the government asking for, to engage in program discussions, we fielded a mission back in July, I think it was, and we agreed on a roadmap, in which things could move. The first step of which was the government wanting to share with us its economic reform plan. So we just had a mission to discuss the key elements of the reform plan, which the government has just shared with us, and we're now assessing that and having further discussions on the plan. So we're at a stage where discussions are proceeding well, I would say, and much will depend on how quickly this reform plan can be fleshed out and start implementing for us to move. forward, okay, with the program. So that's what we're waiting for. So, to be clear, I mean, an important element of our engagement with Ghana is going to be, but with any country, honestly, is going to be that making sure that when we provide resources, when we provide financing, the financing goes to help the country, goes to help its people. And if debt is unsustainable, the extent to which that can happen is, of course, very circumscribed. So part of the work that's ongoing right now is to assess what exactly the debt sustainability situation is, and how the government would like to address that once the work has been completed. So we're waiting for that.
Did you go to some of your favorite shopping centers in Accra and realize that they were not operating? Well, some of them were closed by the Ghana Revenue Authority for failing to comply with its electronic VAT directive. Hopefully, if they can do the needful, they will be allowed to resume operations.
The Ghana Revenue Authority has earmarked about 50 businesses to begin with its electronic VAT invoicing system. And they've given them timelines, which was 1st of October 2022, to comply with the directive. But since then, we understand 25 businesses did comply with the directive, while other 25 businesses were quite reluctant. Throughout the week, the GRA has been busy closing down a number of shops across the city. And they started on Monday, where 4 China Mall shops were closed down. Now, we are currently at the very first place they came to start with the operation, and I can see that the place is still closed, and the commissioner's tape is still sealed at the entrance. Basically, they've been advised not to touch the commissioner's tape because that would really compound their situation. But from Monday to today, being Friday, that should amount to 5 good days this China Mall has not operated. And that would mean or amount to a loss of revenue for the state and for the business owners. On a normal day, you would see a number of vehicles parked here basically to make purchases from China Mall. And as it stands now, there is this vehicle that is turning to make its way back because he saw the notice that China Mall has been closed, and basically he feels so disappointed and is leaving. There is a notice here indicating to the public that China Mall has been closed for now, and there is that tape also right there cording off the place, basically to indicate to customers and the general public that this place is no longer operational as it stands now, until probably the issue they have with the GRA is resolved. We understand a number of customers do troop here, and you can see right behind me, the shop is still closed. The entrance is actually sealed with the commissioner's tape, indicating to the general public that they have some situation they would have to deal with. We've seen that there are 2 security personnel stationed at this particular mall, basically to inform the public or those who are unaware of the situation that they are not operating now. The trolleys have been left here redundant for the past 5 days. And basically that should indicate to you that a number of workers, dozens of them that really take their daily bread from these particular shopping centers, are left with no option than to sit at home waiting patiently until the issues are resolved.
When they came, they didn't even ask any of the workers anything or any of the management anything. They just came and they are locking their tent. This is why we are doing small to eat. If not for the sake of the foreigners, like something like me standing here, what will I do to get something to eat? So what you people are doing, instead of you to do something, you people should tell us something.
So the workers are still aggrieved, basically because they claim they've not been consulted, they've not been talked to by the GRA officials who came in here, but they are unable to even ask their own employer as to why they have been locked out today.
At the Regal restaurant at Osu, the manager of the facility expressed concern, noting that his attempt to hook onto the GRA e-VAT system proved futile, a situation he blamed on the tax collector. The manager, Eddie Chang, spoke to Citi News.
They give the new link for us to do again. My programmer is we do again. How to get time is like this, fast like this. This morning I talked to my the programmer. What happened? Why up to now no start? I start, no problem. I respect the law. The country, the law, I respect all. I did here 25 years. I no problem for this one. I understand this one. But he was trying the people delay the time, not me.
We are at the Palace Mall shop, the biggest one within the city, located around Spintesh, and we've seen that they've opened to business. We can see customers trooping in and out, buying items and making payments here and there. Let's speak to the manager of the place, Mohammed Salami, for him to shed some light on what the engagement with GRA has been so far. What has been the engagement between you and GRA?
Okay, so for the past 48 hours, we've been working on integration of the system, and with their support, we have finally done it. Today, we're opening 3 of our branches. Spintex is already opened, Labone and Tema will open very soon. We just want to inform our customers too that we are ready to serve them, and we want to thank GRA for standing by our side and being there the whole time to make sure all the integration and the test went successfully.
Enforcement manager from the Accra region of GRA, Joseph Annan, addressed the media.
The direction I was given is so clear. And if they hook their system to our system, I'll be told and be directed to come and open the place up. Because like I always say, we are men under instructions. We act on directives given by our superiors. So we are here on the field because our superiors have asked us to do what we are doing now. And if they ask us to come and open, surely we'll do so.
About 13 shops were locked by a task force from the Ghana Revenue Authority over non-compliance with East Electronic VAT invoicing system. And as of now, Palace Mall has started operating after they had some sort of cooperation with GRA. But behind me is Game Shopping Center here at Accra Mall, and so far we've seen that the place is still under locked 3 days after the place was locked by the task force. A number of customers do come in. Upon seeing the closed gates, they leave disappointed.
The government is set to introduce a tax stamp to check piracy in the textile industry from November this year. The Ghana Cloth Sellers Association is optimistic that this will help sanitize the industry, pirated goods, as well as help revive the local industry.
The local textiles industry used to be vibrant about 3 decades ago, but the influx of pirated designs and gross infringements on trademarks of local textile manufacturers have been identified as 2 of the key areas which have adversely affected the textiles industry in the country. The situation has been so dire that many that were once involved in the trade of textiles have long resorted to trade in other goods, not to mention the impact it has had on local textile companies. The Minister of Trade and Industry, Alan Tremanten, has revealed that the local demand for African prints was about 120 million yards per annum, of which the local supply is just about 35%, with the remaining 65% being imported. According to the Ministry of Trade and Industry, the Textiles Tax Stamp policy is one of 6 measures aimed at finding lasting solutions to the challenges and also strengthen the textile sector to create jobs for Ghanaians. With its introduction slated for the 1st of November, the Cloth Sellers Association of Ghana is optimistic of a revamp of the industry. Its president, Christy Lai, spoke to Citi Business News.
It will help us in a way of bringing in pirated goods. It can help us so that those who are bringing the goods from outside, it will not affect our business with the stuff, because the time they showed us the colors, the one that we'll use here, the one that we are going to use on our own, and the ones that are being given to us by the government. I think this will push our business. When somebody is selling imitated work or imitated print, you get to know the consequences.
What do you do when someone owes you over 10 billion Ghana cedis and yet all the efforts to get your money paid you for years have yielded no results? What options are available in such a development? This is the situation the Ghana Chamber of Construction Industry finds itself concerning contracts executed for the government, while the chamber is threatening legal action to retrieve the amount.
Fed up with a delay in the payment of over 10 million cedis debts it owes its members for work done, the leadership of the Ghana Chamber of Construction Industry have threatened to drag the government to court to compel them settle them. The contractors lament that for over 4 years now, the government has been dragging its feet to make these payments, a situation they say is having a negative toll on both their businesses and their personal lives. Emmanuel Cherry is the Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Chamber of Construction Industry.
Approximately 10 billion Ghana cedis is in arrears today as we speak. Roads, that's road fund, cocoa board, consolidated fund, as well as get fund. We are even being charitable. If we should lock all together with the interest upon interest on delay payment, it will be more than that. If the chamber is threatening that he will be using the appropriate legal means or method, is because of this. We have waited for too long, and the time has come.
The chairman of the Ghana Chamber of Construction Industry, Emmanuel Tetemate, also demanded that government disclose how much of the proceeds from the e-levy had been invested into infrastructure development.
The government, through the Ministry of Finance, should respectfully disclose the inflows from the e-levy and the proportion that has gone into infrastructure development since its inception.
Meanwhile, the acting executive director of the Ghana Real Estate Developers Association, GREDA, Same Amegayibo, explained the continuous fall of the cedi and inflation was the reason they indexed in dollars in order to sustain their businesses and avoid incurring losses.
We normally index our prices to the dollar, and it is for a good reason. I want to give you a typical example. How do you start a project in January and buy cement at 40 Ghana cedis a bag? April, you buy it at 60 Ghana cedis. And today, you are buying it about 70 or 74. Tell me how you want to price the house. Will you price your foundation different and price your main structure different and price your roof differently? No. So we do this because of the inflation rate. It's very bad. So we index it to the dollar so that we can stay afloat and sustain our businesses. That is the whole reason why. I cannot invest 100 cedis today and rep in 80 cedis tomorrow. It doesn't work that way.
Citi TV is live on DSTV. Go to channel 363. On GoTV, access Citi TV on channel 182. On a digital TV, please press the menu button on the remote control and run a new search on your TV. Take note that without an antenna, you cannot access Citi TV on your television. Citi TV can be accessed on a free-to-air digital box like the GoTV and Star Times box. Citi TV, it's your world.
These contractors aren't the only ones who are owed monies. Workers of the Metro Mass Transit Limited embarked on a sit-down strike during the week over their 2 months unpaid salaries. For the workers, the situation has worsened because of the incompetence of management. Thus, they want them fired by the government.
On Wednesday, October 12, workers of the Metro Mass Transit Company Limited began an indefinite sit-down strike action where they say that until their salaries in arrears of 2 months are paid, they are not returning to work. They also say that deductions that have been made from their salaries meant for their Tier 2 and 3 pension schemes have not been paid to the fund managers. And essentially, they are calling for the heads of the current management team. For commuters, what's the impact of this strike action? Metro Mass offers a cheaper option for transportation for a lot of people. Right across the AMA head office, you'll find a bus stop here where Metromass Transit operates. We'll speak to some of the commuters here and find out the impact of the strike on their lives.
So strike. We don't know the reason of the strike. And I you can't spend more than 40 Ghana. But say I best spend more than 80 Ghana and I better do them. See if I so be a niso, so a juma on the men's see our own boss, my boss regularly. Said the Omupiano, we say, yeah, by Sanka, the boss, so you're boss.
Okay, Metromass for normal strike, Fitiandrani. How has it affected you? What Juma Seneko?
Asai Kura, my Mobankasa. Jumani Nkoyi, and the Mediani answer. And then some bam siasa, Bass in a Buami panty, says, yeah, I am maybe baby. Now,
the economy of a typical bus stop is such that not only are food sellers available, there are people who work here, the station masters, the bus conductors, are all also affected by the activities of Metromass Transit. So this strike has an effect on some of these people. I have a gentleman here who wants to speak to us. And if it's a strike and it starts here, I was saying.
But so affecting you at the turn for when you because the more buses they attract passengers no mobile. One to and then so talk. Now the answer mobile in money park and idea. Then so you be say your customers are somewhere the mobile mobile to me fine. So I say we cry and quadruple that. And so to me you to me $2 pounds and I didn't know.
Member show Metromass the number gumwa ebia 4 cedi and 3 cedi who could show officer no buy no car get one bag if you lost make it to be cross so budget 35 cedis. It's too much.
But mate, now I don't know general about this.
If we say Metromass no yentime van to ye cars no what I say I know ye abind there and ye individual and nyama we so ye 35 cedis no eso until you say ye 35 cedis. It's a fool and so no boy in it. Can Nanka your call boss about your 800 at the 8 million. It's 2002 12 million. Some call boss Abba.
3 days into the strike, the National Labour Commission intervened. On October 14, Executive Secretary of the National Labour Commission met the striking workers and management to thrash out the issues leading to the workers suspending the strike.
We have been given a task. Now we have to go and make sure that the workers get back to work. Then we come back on Wednesday. It's a task. And we set a purpose. So once we are not done, then you have to do the other. Otherwise, definitely you will not be happy. But we believe in the law. So as workers, this is where we resolve. This is our court. And we don't want to go and do anything else apart from what our leaders have said. So at this stage, we'll go back and do what is right. So that we'll build a strong case. We will not relent on our effort till we achieve what we want to achieve.
The group is expected to meet the full membership of the Commission to work around the substantive grievances on October 19, 2022.
The authority that is close to make a pronouncement on them is the full commission sitting, and that will be on Wednesday. But between now and Wednesday, one, they cannot continue to be on strike because now the commission is seized with the matter is before us, and when your matter is before the commission, you don't go on strike. So once the commission is seized with the matter, they have to call off the strike. That is one. Two, we have looked at the effect on the nation as a whole. Metromass does not only assess the hinterlands and the rural parts of Ghana, but their prices are comparatively better. They bring food and other items from the villages, so they understood it. And you know, as they continue to be on strike, they're going to lose income that ordinarily would have accrued to the company. And when it comes to payment of salaries, workers will also be paid for the days that they are staying at home. So that will be a double loss.
Let's talk about small and medium enterprises as the government through the National African Continental Free Trade Area Coordination Office has assured of putting in place measures to mitigate the challenge to access to funding for SMEs. The National AFTA Coordination Office maintains that this is critical to the growth of SMEs under the AFCFTA.
The Africa Continental Free Trade Area exists to provide a leveraging platform for locally grown African businesses to trade amongst intra-border lines while observing agreed tariff lines in order to boost the confidence, capacity and knowledge of Ghanaian businesses to take advantage of the AFTA platform. CAT International and its key partners, GIZ and Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, held a public-private dialogue on the private sector role and participation in the African Continental Free Trade Agreement. Addressing participants at the first series of the program, the head of research at CATS International, Isaacia Obin, in his presentation highlighted some general limitations confronting the operations of SMEs.
So average capabilities in obtaining required funding for the expansion of their businesses from sources like private investors, crowdfunding, among others. How are they able to access resources? So generally, these are the findings. There's lack of domestic quality certification, lack of internationally recognized quality certification, producing below maximum capacity, lack of differentiated or unique products, insufficient investment in production, finishing, and packaging of products to meet international standards. Finishing and packaging. It is very, very important. You can do whatever you want to do, but if your finishing and packaging is not good, there's no way they can be able to compete.
Speaking on the sidelines of the dialogue, Senior Advisor for Enterprise Support Audit at the National AFTA Coordination Office, Dr. Achopanford, disclosed that the government is advancing measures to accelerate the entry of SMEs into the continent's wide market.
That there's still a window for the SME. The SMEs needs to be informed and then educated about how to take the opportunity. That is what, from now to next year, the National Coordinating Office has mandated itself to do. But I have been doing the technical audit of these SMEs. So far, about 200 I've audited, with my team. 235, companies have been done. We are trying to do additional 100 next year. And then by that, it will be the exit here. And then what we do during the audits or the assessment is to identify their challenges and give the recommendations to the ministry to see how we can support them with that kind of intervention.
Regional Director of CAT, Apia Kusi Adumako, also called for stakeholders to push the agenda of building a favorable environment for small and medium-scale business to thrive despite the continuous economic hardship facing the country.
We are all aware AFCFTA has come to stay, and it is two things. If we do not support our SMEs to be able to produce locally and to export it to other markets, other countries will have their SMEs supported to the extent that they will also bring their goods and flood our market and collapse local businesses. And so it is very, very important that as a government, we need to have a coordinated strategy to ensure that AFCF, the private sector, the SMEs are supported in terms of the policy environment as well as the macroeconomic environment, that they'll be able to produce competitively. Inflation is an albatross on us, and I think government policies, and I want to say that government policies is really key to address the inflationary pressure that has kind of become an albatross on Ghanaians. And I would like to say that as government prepares its budget for the next fiscal year, government needs to do a broader consultation.
For exporters to meet the changing demands of the world of export, they must invest in building their capacity. The Ghana Export Promotion Authority, GEPA, believes exporters must build their expertise to be able to be well prepared to take advantage of the African Continental Free Trade Area move that will help strengthen the Ghanaian economy.
In recent times, stakeholders have underscored the need for exporters to take advantage of the Africa Continental Free Trade Area to promote and expand their businesses in order to increase the country's export capacity. Ghana Export Promotion Authority believes this, however, cannot be achieved with very little knowledge about the business of export, particularly within this period where the world keeps adapting to new trends in all aspects of businesses. It is in view of this that the Ghana Export Promotion Authority is encouraging exporters to avail themselves to adapt new trends which will present them with the skills to compete with the rest of the world. Speaking to Citi News, the Deputy Chief Executive Officer of GEPA, Albert Kasim Duran, noted that he believes the country's economy will improve if there is an increase in its exports.
We seek to build capacity of exporters because it's a global trade. You don't sit in Ghana and expect that you shall be able to compete favorably with the rest of the world with the knowledge that you have. And so we work with the ITC, International Trade Center. We work with other institutions just to make sure that what we churn out year on year basis is to bring up to speed the knowledge of exporters to be able to compete favorably with their colleagues outside, the rest of the world. Because export evolves. It changes every day. The Incoterms, if you like, the standards, things keep evolving, keep changing. And so if we don't build the capacity of exporters to meet the changing demands, they may fall short along the line. And that is the reason why we are building capacities of our exporters to sharpen their skills, to take their business forward. We all know if we get it right in export in this country, what it means to the development of this economy, especially the strengthening of our Ghanaian city.
The Deputy CEO of Ghana Export Promotion Authority spoke at the opening ceremony of a 5-day workshop in the Ashanti region to build capacity of exporters and called on businesses to collaborate with each other to help expand their reach.
What I want to stress on is let's collaborate among ourselves. It's not about competition. So if you come here to acquire the knowledge, please also network with your colleagues and ensure that going forward, if you need some extra information, it may not be the facilitators, it may not be at Ghana Export, but it might be your very colleague that you think you are competing with. This time it's about collaboration because the world needs a lot of the product and maybe one person may not be able to supply. So once you come here as participant to participate in this program, take advantage to network among yourself.
In Ghana, many artisans have for years now worked without any theoretical knowledge of what they do. This makes them limited in adopting modern trends. The Kumasi Technical University is thus seeking to bridge that gap by training these artisans and exchanging knowledge with them, as it has signed an MOU with the Ghana Artisan Association of Garages.
Engineer Dr. Prince Owusu-Ansah has been speaking to Citi Business News on how the training being given to the members of the Ghana Association of Garages will help transform the automobile industry and improve the lives of the artisans.
We seek to achieve technology transfer and in the modern ways of doing things in the automobile and in the mechanical engineering industry. Our basic idea or our basic motive is to transfer modern technologies to our good friends and brothers at the informal sector. So if you are able to design, produce, and then manufacture basic engine components, basic engine components, we will not go to China or Korea to go and then import crankshaft or camshaft or bolts and nuts. So our basic motive that is really pushing us is to also transfer knowledge. Some of us have gone to abroad to do our PhD. We went there to study, and there are a lot of things that we have seen that we want to really impart to our brothers at the informal sector. They are very good. They are fantastic. They can do everything. As I said, we are now in the modern 21st century. We are not doing a try and error. People are buying vehicles of over 100 billions of US dollars, and then you want him to bring it to your wayside, and then you just come and support a vehicle for him, and you say, please, I beg, forgive me. No, you won't bring it. So we are here to really empower our good friends. They are very fantastic guys. I know them.
Professor Gabriel Jomo, the Pro-Vice Chancellor of the Kumasi Technical University, tells Citi Business News that the initiative will help academia and industry.
Normally, when people talk about theory, people are of the view that academia or faculty members are very good when it comes to theory. This is what people think. And when it comes to practical aspect, people also think that Ghana National Association of Garages or the industry is more practical oriented, while the university is theoretical oriented. If that is the case, bridging the two or combining the two makes it very easy in terms of achieving what you want to achieve, because one cannot be used to achieve the objective that you want to achieve. So at the end of the day, if Ghana National Association of Garages thinks that when it comes to the practical aspect, they are very good, and the investor thinks that when it comes to the theoretical aspect, they are also very good, then in order to achieve the necessary synergy, you have to bring the two together, so that at the end of the day, as we normally say, 1 + 1 is equal to 2, but if the two comes together, it will be 1 + 2, or 1 + 1 equals to 3. Why? Because there's extra advantage that you are going to enjoy. So the reason why we have decided to collaborate is to ensure that we pull expertise together, so that at the end of the day, we can be able to achieve so many objectives.
Engineer Solomon Ando, the lead consultant to the Ghana Association of Garages, is hopeful that more of these trainings will help improve employment opportunities for various artisans and boost technical and vocational education in Ghana.
We from the Ghana Association of Garages, we see it as a very huge milestone for us. In fact, when you look at the industry, as the research shows, the industry of the automobile industry we have in Ghana, over 4 million people down there are in this industry. Normally, you see them going into the industry right from GHS, and then they enter into it. When somebody goes to secondary school, the person would like to go to university and all that, without seeing any importance in the technical education. In fact, so it has landed all these low-level students in this industry, and they are the same mechanics, the same engineers that we are developing the country in this automobile industry. So then, we see that this opportunity we've gotten from KSTU is going to let each and every person who has gone down there to learn the trade will also have the opportunity to hold some certificate, so that those who have passed through the university level will not be those who hold a certificate. But see, this one even becomes a big opportunity for them, because you have been able to get the practical knowledge, and as well as gotten the opportunity to get the academia certification and the knowledge, the theoretical knowledge as well.
Nothing is wasted so long as it can be reused. No wonder the Business Development Officer of the SNV Green Program, Hilda Abambere, is calling on Ghanaians to see the value in waste and also patronize products created from such waste to help save the environment. Hilda Abambere said this at the opening of a 6-day Green Regional Trade Show in Takoradi, organized by the European Union-funded SNV Green Project, where 48 SMEs are exhibiting their locally produced products.
The Green Regional Trade Show is part of the Boosting Green Employment and Enterprise Opportunities in Ghana project being implemented by SNV Ghana and the United Nations Capital Development Fund, with funding from the European Union and the Embassy of the Kingdom of the Netherlands in Ghana. At the Western Regional Green Trade Show, which began on Tuesday, 4th October at the Takoradi Mall and expected to end on Sunday, 9th October, 48 Ghanaian small and medium enterprises who are beneficiaries of the SNV's 6-month green incubation and green acceleration programs are exhibiting their products and services that are environmentally friendly and uses waste materials. The Business Development Officer of the SNV Green Program, Hilda Abambere, speaking at the opening, called for patronage of the exhibition that cut across agro-processing, renewables, water and hygiene products.
We have limited access for green products in the general public. So as a program to promote market access for our SMEs, we felt it necessary to organize a trade show just to showcase green products, because most of the trade fairs or trade shows that we always participate in you don't see much of the green products. Some are even imported products. You don't see so much of made in Ghana products. So the essence of this trade show is to showcase green products and to showcase made in Ghana products and to let people appreciate that whatever we see as waste can be converted into something valuable.
The programs officer in charge of macroeconomics and trade section of the European Union delegation to Ghana said the European Union will continue to support the SMV Green Program as it falls within its 7-year EU cooperation program with Ghana aimed at skill development and job creation.
I'm very excited to start a conversation with many of the entrepreneurs that are here today. Sure that, as I said, they can inspire the work we are doing, our reflection to continue our partnership with Ghana around green and mainly to promote job opportunities, green job opportunities, and contribute to reduce the unemployment rate that is still very, very high, especially for youth here in Ghana.
Some of the speakers spoke to Citi News about their products and the support from the SMV Green Project.
We deal in baby foods, food for adults, even as the elderly generation that are more health conscious, because they would want to eat organic stuff, raw, food rich in fiber and all that. So here at Prestige Organic, we deal in baby foods. And then our current addition is the date syrup. So with our processing, unlike the usual processing where we have smoke and all that, we use modern methods like dehydration to get our products ready, so we don't pollute the environment or anything like that. And with the ingredients that we use all the parts of the seeds and then the vegetables.
What we do here is we make sanitary products. We have soap made from organic ingredients. From our sourcing our ingredients, we are not causing any destruction because it's from a sustainable farm where we plant these natural ingredients to make this product. Then we take some forms of waste from other people's production, like the coconut oil producers, those who make essential oils. We take their waste and add to our wonderful products here. So it's environmentally friendly. And with the support from the SMV Green Project, we've learned how to package our products with the biodegradable material. All these things you're seeing here is not plastic, it's paper. Yes, and it's very eco-friendly because the manufacturer takes off cuts from other people's production, as I keep saying, other people's production to make these lovely products you see here.
What I'm telling the public today is we should go in for our local produced rice, especially Roland rice, that's the brand name. With Roland rice, you can use less salt when cooking, so those into having diseases, heart diseases, they can use Roland rice, less salt, or even without, you can cook without salt. And it stays longer after cooking. 2 days or a day, it will still be fresh.
SMV Ghana has partnered with Ghana Export Promotion Authority, Association of Ghana Industries, Ghana Investment Promotion Center, Ministry of Trade and Industry on the Regional Road Trade Show. The Western Regional Officer of the Trade Ministry, Isaac Youngson, while commending the SMV Green Project, also encouraged exhibitors to take advantage of the Africa Free Trade Platform.
As a trade ministry, we think that the support being given to the SME needs to be extended to the universities and technical institutions who normally write their theses, and sometimes these theses are very good use, but it's not applied. And when they support some are green initiatives which can be supported.
Well, it's a wrap for today's edition of the Business Weekly Show here on Citi TV, your most watched business show in the country. For more business stories, please visit our website, citybusinessnews.com. Please let's connect on Twitter at @mobodu. My name is Michael Obodu. Thank you again for tuning in. Catch you same time next week. Stay safe, stay informed. Bye-bye.